Welcome to this parent information session focusing on academics. My name is Rachel Clifton-Sims and I'm the Head of Academics here at Methodist Ladies College. In this session, we'll focus on the academic journey that students undertake going from years 10 through years 12. We'll look at some of the key academic milestones and we'll have a little bit of a look at different types of academic support and academic challenges students can face. Then we'll have a little bit of a look at some of the Year 11 and 12 specific details you might need to know to support your daughters on their learning journey. So this really represents that learning pathway from Year 10 through to Year 12. Year 10's really about exploring opportunities. In Year 10, the girls really look at a number of different pathways that they might like to take through Year 11 and 12. We hope that they really have opportunities to develop their study skills and then experience academic challenges so that they're ready for the rigour of Year 11 and 12 and they get the opportunity to sit exams in Term 4. Year 11 is all about developing mastery. We want them to develop academic confidence, whichever pathway they've chosen for their Year 11 and 12 studies. Year 11 is all about bedding down the skills and developing that confidence so that they can succeed in their chosen courses. Year 11 is also a really important year to make sure they're on the right pathway, that pathway they've chosen fits with their goals for the future and is well suited to their academic outcomes. And then Year 12 is all about success. It's really that opportunity where the girls can really demonstrate their academic achievements and meet their academic goals. And Year 12 is all about creating opportunities for their post-school life, making sure they've set themselves up and have those successes on their pathway so they're ready for those future challenges. So here I've just outlined some of the main steps that the girls will go through on this 10 to 12 journey. So Year 10, it's all about exploring courses, understanding what their options might be moving forward. They do this in a number of ways. Firstly, through the electives that they've chosen in Year 10, it gives them exposure to some of courses that can lead into specific courses, either ATAR or general, through their Year 11 and 12 studies. The girls also look at different future pathways through the careers program. There are a range of different pathways they can take in Year 12, and it's really important that they understand the diversity of options and what that might mean for their learning journey and how those different pathways can align with the goals they have for their future. Assessment skills and study skills are really key for Year 10 students. Year 10 in many courses has a step up in terms of academic rigour, and it gives them a little bit of an exposure to a slightly faster pace. For some courses, they'll also have the opportunity to experience teaching under different teachers, such as through their Year 10 science program. And then, of course, we have that exam-based experience at the end of Year 10, giving them exposure to what an exam type assessment can feel like, and helping them set themselves up for the pathway that they may have chosen, if that includes exams such as an ATAR pathway. Year 10 is also an opportunity for the girls to demonstrate their literacy and numeracy skills are at standard required for their WACE achievement. And if they haven't achieved that standard through their Year 9 NAPLAN results, they can sit the OLNA in Year 10. If we need to have further opportunities with the OLNA, they can also do this in Year 11. So moving on to Year 11, the girls will complete at least 6 courses over the course of Year 11, and this might be a combination of different sorts of courses, such as the SCASA ATAR courses and the SCASA general courses. Students may also select to complete our Workplace Learning endorsed program, or a variety of other endorsed programs, such as the Curtin In-Schools Uni Ready program. A number of students also elect to take certificate courses starting in Year 11, and these can have workplace learning components, and some of them are even run by external providers. So the range of opportunities in Year 11 is quite significant. Throughout that course of Year 11, as I mentioned before, we really hope the girls bed down their study skills and develop techniques and strategies that help them achieve success on their chosen pathway. And these skills will be really different depending on what that pathway is. So some girls that are going off campus for a certificate course need to be really organised and resourceful. They out in the world already, as it were, whereas other girls who are developing exam-focused skills need to develop quite different strategies for success in their Year 11 pathway. Then Year 12. So the goal for our students in Year 12 again is to complete 6 courses over the course of Year 12 so that they're on track to achieve their West Australian Certificate of Education. There are a number of requirements for this WACE certificate. So these steps include completing 20 units over the course of Year 11 and 12, and they must represent a List A and a List B unit. So that relates to List A, we've got things like the humanities, the languages, the English courses, and List B tends to be technologies, math and science-based courses. So the girls need to complete at least one of each and an English course. The girls need to achieve a minimum of 14 C grades in their chosen courses over years 11 and 12 to demonstrate that they manage that achievement standard for their Year 12 graduation. They need to demonstrate that they are able to work at the literacy and numeracy standard of the WACE. They can do this through ATAR courses, general courses, endorsed programs, and also through the completion of certificate courses. So there are lots of ways that you can achieve your WACE, and that WACE achievement is the ultimate goal for all students in Year 12. Because it's a requirement for most tertiary placements, as well as provides a broad base of recognition of their high school achievement, whatever pathway they hope to end up on. By the end of Year 12, a number of our students will also sit their ATAR exams and achieve an ATAR score. And many of them, over the last few years, we've seen have been accepted into places in tertiary institutions through early office programs. So by the time they have completed their Year 12 studies, they already have tertiary placements. The journey through years 10 to 12 is really benefited by establishing good academic habits. So we call these really the 3 pillars or strategies for success. The first one is what they bring to class. So their attitude is really important. We want them to be focused, we want them to be engaged during that class time, to make the most of their time with teachers and the activities that they're doing in class. To help with that, being organised is really important. Knowing what they'll need for the class, knowing how they're organising their resources, having their computers charged, things like this really can make a significant difference. Note-taking skills and study skills are really key for that process to be effective. So different things will work for different students, and we want them to really take the time to notice, be reflective learners. Was that approach helpful? What other strategies are out there? What am I doing that's working, and how can I refine the things that aren't working to improve my practice? This comes into play through their homework habits as well, where organisation and awareness of effective practice are really key. Homework should be structured and it should be targeted. So the girls need to know what their intentions are when they sit down to do their homework. They should map their homework plan over the course of the week or the term, even if they're very organised, so that they can balance their co-curricular commitments around their study commitments and be prepared for any upcoming assessments. There's nothing worse than realising that you have a test the next day that you haven't studied for. We encourage our students to be really reflective with their homework practices, especially as they're moving through Year 10 and Year 11, so that they're really well placed when they're in that final year. They've got great study skills, they know those skills work for them, and they've learnt that through a reflective practice of trying different things and then thinking about how effective they were, because that efficacy is really important. And then finally, managing your peer relationships. Constructive friendships in the classroom and outside the classroom can make a huge difference for the journey, the academic journey, for the girls over years 10 to 12. There will be a number of different pressure points, and having a great friend, a positive group of friends that have similar academic goals, even if they're taking different pathways to those goals, can make a huge difference to helping your daughter feel like they're on the right track and that they can manage and navigate this journey. There will be bumps in the road. We've all had bumps in the road. Years 10, 11 and 12 are challenging years, especially in the situation that we find ourselves in at the moment. But there is a huge diversity of mechanisms that the students can tap into for support depending on where they're at. Any issues that they might have with their coursework, we really encourage them as the first port of call to go to their classroom teacher. Ask questions, get some feedback. If they're feeling like they don't understand a piece of work or a task that's been set, jump in quickly with a question. That can happen through an email. It might happen by just asking a question in class, maybe just asking a question at the end of class. Those teachers really know your daughters, and they know the course, and they know where the pieces of work fit into the body of work representing that year. So they're a great resource for you all as your first port of call. As I mentioned, the value of great study skills, MLC has a wonderful study resource known as the MLC Study Guide. You can access through links that have been placed in the Wyvern and also via the Community Handbook. It's got lots of different tips and strategies that we would encourage you to talk about with your daughters, and then also for the girls to try out, especially through years 10 and 11 when they're settling into establishing good study routines. Academic coaching is extremely valuable. This is a program run in the MLH building after school and before school, and most days there are a range of teachers that are rostered onto the academic coaching sessions. It gives your daughter an opportunity to access subject specialist teachers. It might not be her teacher, but it might be another person who has an experience with the course that she's learning. She can get some feedback, she can ask for advice on assessments or homework, or just get a sense of what's coming next in that course. You can check the academic coaching roster again through the Wyvern, and the students can also ask their teachers if they're wanting to attend a particular session. That's a great resource. If you want to know a little bit more about how your daughter's performing or the course that she's completing and how it fits into other courses in the future in that domain, our heads of academic departments are extremely knowledgeable. They're great for giving you some context about your daughter's achievements and how that maps to the sorts of achievement patterns we've seen over time at the college and what that might mean for her future achievement in that particular course. If your daughter has a diagnosed learning need or any specific learning conditions, our Head of Inclusive Learning can also help your daughter's learning journey. Mrs. Lee is also our primary contact for students who are looking to apply for special examination provisions in Year 12. So we start to enact these provisions for students that have diagnosed learning conditions in Year 10 and then Year 11. And then in Year 12 we go through the formal SCASA application process, where SCASA collects all the documentation related to that student's learning condition and then determines what is an appropriate examination provision for that particular student. Miss Lee will help you with any questions you have related to those aspects of your daughter's learning. Now this one here has a little bit of information specific to students who are in Year 11 and 12. The first one is related to assessments, and for many students, Year 11 and 12 courses, especially at the beginning of the year, can feel like they're all about assessments. The students will have received an assessment schedule for all of their 8R courses and general courses, and this will enable them to map their assessments over the coming months of the year. Now this is really important to help them ensure that they're prepared for each of those assessments and to help them manage their stress levels and workloads over the course of the week as they juggle all their different learning commitments and co-curricular commitments. All students are expected to attend all their scheduled assessments in Year 11 and 12. And if they're not able to attend a scheduled assessment, we need to have evidence as to why. So students do this by submitting a sickness and misadventure form. These forms are digitally submitted this year for the first time, and you can access that digital submission link via your daughter's MMT cover page and also via the MLC Community Handbook. Those submissions need to be accompanied by a medical certificate covering the date of the missed assessment, if the missed assessment was due to medical reasons. If the missed assessment was due to misadventure, we would encourage your daughter to get in contact with her head of year, who can help her navigate the types of evidence that she'd need to submit to support her missed assessment. If your daughter finds herself in a situation where she has missed an assessment, we would encourage her to reach out to her teacher to see if she can arrange an opportunity to sit the assessment when she returns to school. This is a great opportunity for her to get some feedback based on how she's going in that assessment from her teachers. The other thing that comes up across years 10 to 12 is course changes. Now, we encourage all our students to think really carefully about the courses that they select when they start Year 11, because these courses are really designed as 2-year courses, and to make the most out of the learning that they develop through Year 11, we want them to continue those courses and reap the benefits of that established skill base in Year 12. And as such, we don't encourage students to change courses. However, there are a number of times that students might have selected a course that they come to realise is not for them, in which case it's quite possible for them to change courses in Year 11 up to about week 5 of Term 1. We encourage them to move earlier so that they have the most chance to get the most out of that new course they're moving into, and they don't have too much work to catch up. After about week 5, it's very hard to complete the course requirements for a course for the students to complete that unit in Year 11. However, at the end of their Semester 1 exams or assessments, beginning of Semester 2, it is possible to review a student's course if the student is experiencing some pastoral situations or is looking at a pathway change. In the instance that a student is interested in changing course, we encourage them to come and have a chat with me so that they can understand the implications of the change, and we can just work through whether it's possible with the timetable and how that might impact any of their future goals. And on that note, we do encourage all students to complete 6 courses through Year 11 and then through Year 12 from that diverse list of courses that are on offer. One of the most important things that you can do as parents for students across Year 10 to 12 is just acknowledge the challenges that come with completing these particular years. Students who are undergoing Year 10 to 12, these years do provide unique challenges. For lots of students, they'll find the courses they're starting in Year 10 might be a bit bigger in their field than the ones that they've done in the middle years. They might feel a little overwhelmed with the scope of the course and with the assessment load, particularly if they're on an 8R pathway. This is perfectly normal. It is a step up for many students, and that step up's important. We want them to have that opportunity for academic challenge so that they can rise to the challenge and experience that amazing feeling when you've done something where you've really challenged yourself. And that sets them up well for embracing challenge in their future. We acknowledge that there's challenges. We're here for them as well if they want to talk through any of the challenges that they're experiencing. For lots of students who've had rich co-curricular lives in the middle years, juggling those co-curricular commitments as they move through years 10 to 12 can bring additional challenges. One of the wonderful things about being here at MLC is the rich co-curricular opportunities that the girls have access to, and we would encourage them to really stay immersed in those co-curricular opportunities whilst they're navigating their academic workloads. Some of them might need some additional support to develop strategies as to how to navigate those two worlds effectively. We'd encourage them to reach out to their coaches, reach out to the leaders of the departments that run the co-curricular activity, and come and have a chat to us in academics if they want some tips or strategies as they navigate those two different domains. The other different aspect as the students move into Year 11 and 12 in particular is that often they're completing quite different pathways to some of their friends. This means they might not have classes with some of the girls that they've had classes with every year up till now. It might mean that the only time they get to see some of those friends is at recess or at lunch. It might mean some of their friends are off campus one day a week completing an external course. This can be a little unsettling for lots of people. It's different. It's okay to feel a little bit unsettled, especially at the beginning of the year. It takes a while to get used to this different way of operating and be on a different pathway and a different timetable to your friends. We encourage the girls to take the time to settle into the course, just to live with the courses they've selected for a while and settle into them. We're here if they ever want to chat about how that balance is going and how they're feeling about all of this. Their heads of year and their mentors are another great resource. We want the girls to keep perspective, and we want them to maintain that vision of their journey and their goal for their future. These challenging years, the challenges the girls select for themselves over years 10 to 12, mean that they come out as these most amazing young women. And we want them to have that experience to grow into what their future selves are going to become. We want them to develop mastery, seek expertise. We want them to develop enterprise and those skills of resourcefulness. These are challenging years that provide opportunities for that growth. Now, if you ever want to have a chat, get in touch, any question, you're welcome to reach out by email or by phone. You can contact me in the Academic Services Office. You can also get in touch with Mr. Chris Kelly, who's our Director of Teaching and Learning and is a real expert on the whole academic pathway and structure here at MLC. And if you do have any questions about your daughter's learning needs, I would encourage you to get in touch with our Head of Inclusive Learning, Mrs. Melanie Lee. Thanks for your time, and I wish your daughters a wonderful learning journey through years 10 to 12. Thank you.